Welcome back to the program. We are glad you are still keeping us company. In case you are just joining us, karibu tena sana. This is Good Morning Kenya. I am Jain Wambui. From politics, we now move on to our family segment. And today, we are going to continue with a series that we started a while back, looking at relationships and toxic relationships. For that matter, narrowing it down to know how to handle a narcissist, whether you are in a committed relationship or in marriage. To help us with this conversation today, we have Zipporah Wanyeki, who is a counselor at the Baton of Hope. Good morning, Zipporah.
Good morning, Jain.
Thank you for making time to be with us once again.
You're welcome.
Are you on the social platforms? Obviously, can be able to interact with you?
Yeah, sure I am.
Give us your handles.
At Facebook, you find me at Zippy Wanyeki. On Twitter, Wanyeki1 Zipporah. And I have a YouTube channel, Zipporah Wanyeki.
Fantastic. And remember, we are also using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. My handle is at Jain Wambui. Now, first things first. We live in a time where people say, stay dangerous, stay toxic, stay Taliban. But when you talk about relationships and them being toxic, let's just start from there. How would you define a toxic relationship? Thank you,
Jain. I'll start by telling you that of late, I've come to realize that most people are confusing toxic relationship, maybe for affection. They don't know. They don't know. Yeah, they think that it is normal to be in such kind of a relationship where somebody is calling you 16 missed calls in your phone, and you think that is normal. So we need to enlighten our Kenyans and tell them that for somebody to be in a toxic relationship, the basic that we can tell you, number one, you feel unsupported. Number two, you feel drained, unhappy. You do not get any joy from that relationship. These people, Jain, they tend even to envy other happy couple outside there.
Yes.
They feel drained, no energy, no joy. You feel attacked. You feel misunderstood. This person does not, communicate well. It's so negative. They leave you feeling worse than better, and you are in a relationship. That is a basic characteristic that we can tell you that watch out, you're in a toxic relationship. Especially when you do not derive joy. I mean, love, who wouldn't want to be loved, Jain? So if you are not getting that love, these people who are in a manipulative relationship, for example, is not fun. It's not fun for somebody who keeps on bringing you down your self-esteem. Yes. So when you feel attacked, when you feel not loved, when you feel unsupported, misunderstood, you are in a toxic relationship. Now,
once you have gone through some of these challenges, and much later then you come to realize maybe this was a toxic relationship. But for most people, we have grown understanding that relationships ni kuvumiliana. It's what we have been taught. And for some, even from the household setup, you have grown seeing one of your parents being abusive to the other, and it has become normalized to you. How then are you able to tell the difference when you're in such a relationship if you have such a background?
Number one, I would like to tell you that, I've been to marriages and I hear all these negative things. People will come during the wedding day. Jain, on your wedding, people come with all advice. Relationship in marriage. To help us with this conversation today, we have Zipporah Wanyeki, who is a counselor at the Baton of Hope. Good morning, Zipporah. Good morning, Jain.
Thank you for making time to be with us once again.
You're welcome.
Are you on the social platforms? Obviously, can be able to interact with you?
Yeah, sure I am.
Give us your handles.
At Facebook, you find me at Zippy Wanyeki. On Twitter, Wanyeki1 Zipporah. And I have a YouTube channel, Zipporah Wanyeki.
Fantastic. And remember, we are also using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. My handle is at Jain Wambui. Now, first things first. We live in a time where people say, stay dangerous, stay toxic, stay Taliban. But when you talk about relationships and them being toxic, let's just start from there. How would you define a toxic relationship?
Thank you, Jain. I'll start by telling you that of late, I've come to realize that most people are confusing toxic relationship, maybe for affection. They don't know. They don't know.
Challenges.
Yeah, they think that it is normal to be in such kind of a relationship where somebody is calling you 16 missed calls in your phone, and you think that is normal. So we need to enlighten our Kenyans and tell them that for somebody to be in a toxic relationship, the basic that we can tell you, number one, you feel unsupported. Number two, you feel drained, unhappy. You do not get any joy from that relationship. These people, Jane, they tend even to envy other happy couple outside there.
Yes.
They feel drained, no energy, no joy. You feel attacked. You feel misunderstood. This person does not, communicate well. It's so negative. They leave you feeling worse than better, and you are in a relationship. That is a basic characteristic that we can tell you that watch out, you're in a toxic relationship. Especially when you do not derive joy. I mean, love, who wouldn't want to be loved, Jane? So if you are not getting that love, these people who are in a manipulative relationship, for example, is not fun. It's not fun for somebody who keeps on bringing you down your self-esteem. Yes. So when you feel attacked, when you feel not loved, when you feel unsupported, misunderstood, you are in a toxic relationship.
Now, once you have gone through some of these challenges, and much later then you come to realize maybe this was a toxic relationship. But for most people, we have grown understanding that relationships ni kuvumiliana. It's what we have been taught. And for some, even from the household setup, you have grown seeing one of your parents being abusive to the other, and it has become normalized to you. How then are you able to tell the difference when you're in such a relationship if you have such a background?
Number one, I would like to tell you that, I've been to marriages and I hear all these negative things. People will come during the wedding day, Jane, on your wedding, people come with all advice. Ati ukifika huko mwanamke ni kuvumilia ndoa. Wambui, huku tumeondoa kitanda chako, ukienda. So what are you hammering to the mind of this naive bride? That vumilia kila kitu. In case you beaten, vumilia. No, there's nothing like that. So we later come and tell them when to know when to leave and when to stay. So if you are being brought up maybe in a place where, like, maybe your parents, we call them dysfunctional homes, you found them fighting and your mama amevumilia miaka 45 kwa ndoa, that doesn't give you a license kuvumilia pia. So it is up to you, because I always tell people, self-respect is everything concerning dealing with abuse. You have to get your self-esteem back, because one of these people, what they do, they bring your self-esteem down. So if you need to deal with toxic person, fight for your self-esteem. That is how you know whether I should be able to see. Because why should we, Jane, for example, tell you to wait until all your hands and legs are amputated? Why should we tell you to wait in such a toxic relationship whereby unatusiwa mbele ya watoto? I mean, it's not good, because you're an adult. So this is the time, I think this one is draining all my strength and my energy. I need to move out. That is when we talk about when you're dealing with, for example, someone we call a narcissist.
Now that's actually where I want us to go, and I'd like for you to help even our viewers get to understand the difference when you talk about a narcissist and just understanding when somebody is having an anger episode, because we all get angry. And most of the times you say some things you don't mean when you're angry. But then again, how do you differentiate this kawaida temper flares to somebody who is actually a narcissist? How would you define a narcissist?
Thank you. Let me first of all tell Kenyans this. Who is a narcissist? If you want to know, you're dealing with that. And these people are not good people. They bring your self-esteem down. They demean you. They attack you. They manipulate you. So one way of knowing that you're dealing with a narcissist is that these people are full of themselves. Bloated ego. I'm talking about bloated ego. An exaggerated sense of self-importance. They feel like it is either my way or nobody's way. They feel they are on top of the world. These people, they think that they are Mr. and Mrs. Know-it-all. I mean, when you're dealing with a narcissist, one of the main characteristics that you would look at them is that they are highly manipulative. They manipulate and they don't say sorry. But when they say sorry, they sound something like, Akibe, I'm sorry, maybe this person slapped you out of anger, as you call it. I'll come and tell you there's nothing like that. Everybody can manage anger if you just learn the skills. So this anger that makes you slap somebody, you need to find out what is wrong with this person. So this person is one highly manipulative. Anakuchapa. Akikuchapa, and then you're there, you're crying, you have a soul and eye, a broken tooth or something, and then you're expecting a sorry from them. If you force them to apologize, maybe they will. But they say something like, Jane, you know, you're the one who forced me to, you forced me to slap you. Now, how on earth do I force you to slap me? How on earth? So these people, they never give genuine, they never give genuine apology. If you're waiting for that, it's like getting blood from guava. It never comes. So dealing with a narcissist, number one, they're highly manipulative. And they'll manipulate you in all order, in all circles of life. For example, what do? They do something like, you're crying, you want to leave and go back to your parents. They have already called your mother. Jane isn't talking to me. I came at home, she didn't cook for me or something. So your mother is like, now why is Jane mistreating my son-in-law? So they block for all your level of influence, all those people that would have helped you. They call your friends. So you will always look bad in the eyes of people because you're dealing with a narcissist. Remember, one of the things they do is they put you around somewhere in a cocoon of your own. So you can't, you can't get help. You can't get, so they'll manipulate you. You threaten you're leaving. They are crying and they take a knife. They want to stab themselves. Uende na mimi nijiue. Now, where are you left? You're like, akibe usijiwe, sijui nini nini. That's a narcissist for you. They cry, they manipulate you. That is number one thing to know. Number two, they are highly, highly controlling. Highly. From the friends you relate with, from the dresses you wear, from the phones, the hairstyle, the color of your clothes, everything. They manipulate you, they control your behavior. Now, what I don't like about narcissism, for example, and I told you it's a personality disorder. Yes, as they are controlling you, for example, they can come and say, Jane, I don't like you wearing purple. For example, maybe you're married to a narcissist. I don't like you wearing purple. And so one time, this guy finds you wearing purple. And he's like, you know, he'll create fight out of it. I told you I don't like purple. Now you don't care for me. You don't love me. See, you are now in purple. And then you start apologizing for sins that you never committed. And you say something like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean to offend you. You know, you're there. Every other time, a narcissist will be looking for somebody to be, you know, they look for someone they can intimidate. So narcissist can't marry a narcissist. Unless wajenge karibu na polisi. They can't. They look for people we call empath. Empath are people who are totally, wale watu wana, you know, very, to be empathetic. You feel my pain, you are over understanding, you're quiet, you are there. They look for people they can intimidate.
Now that is actually
and bring it down.
That we'll be coming to when it comes to relationships and marriages as a whole. But in a nutshell, a narcissist is somebody who is manipulative,
very manipulative,
controlling, and has a bloated ego,
self-importance, and they're pathological liars. They cheat. And even when you found him cheating and you're there, you're threatening to leave or what, they are like, no, but you forced me to do it. But you doing what? No, they keep on lying. Time and again, they'll be lying to you. So narcissism is not a very good behavior. It's not a very good disorder to deal with. And unfortunately, Jane, these people are in the marketplace. These people are in the career world. They're in the corporate sector. So you do not have a way of knowing them because outside there, they are doing very well. This is a teacher, this is a doctor, this is a lawyer, very successful in life. So you don't have a way of knowing unless we teach Kenyans on what to look for in narcissism.
Now, let's take a step back.
Yes.
Are there known causes of narcissism?
Yeah, sure. It's much more of the psychological. I started by telling that when we deal with narcissism, we are talking about abnormal behaviors. Yes. And we call it NPD. NPD is narcissistic personality disorder. It is a personality disorder. And one of the things that we believe causes, that one is tackled by the clinical psychologist. One of the things that we know is parenting style. The other time we did a show about parenting types and everything. Parenting style, you find there are these parents who are over-involved. I call it over-involved parenting. So over-involved is whereby you do not let this child be. You are there doing everything for them. They refuse to walk, you carry them. They refuse to eat this, you get this for them. I mean, you are there. You're being manipulated by this child. They start their manipulating early in life. So these children, they don't take no for answer. So this parent has been there for them. You are there until you would want to be there almost for everything. You don't let them. Anaenda shule unainama unamfunga viatu. Honestly, something they can do for themselves. You carry for them their bags, or you prepare for them their lunch. Even these simple tasks that
so
they can do. They grow up knowing that people will be there to treat me nicely, because narcissists are hiding and they want to be treated nicely.
Yes.
But they do not give that back. They take more from you. They drain you because they're sucking life out of you, but they don't give that back to you. So that's number one, over-parenting, over-involved parenting. Let the child be. Teach a child some skills. Let them go and do them. Don't do everything for them. Even if it is maybe something like nowadays you're talking about technology, phones and everything. Yeah. I always say, sometimes it's good, let them know that the money is not just growing on trees. It has to be saved so that you also get for them. If you choose to give them the phones anyway. There are those that decide, wangu simu, and yakifika university or something like that. So, over-involved parenting.
Okay.
Yeah, you pampered so much. Pampered them so much. Even when the teacher calls you telling you, your child is doing this, and it's like, oh my, no, this child can't. You're overprotective. The teacher has nothing to do with you, or no personal grudge with you. So anakwambia tu mtoto wako, anakupatia tu feedback, mtoto wako wako hivi. So these they tend to be. Another cause that psychologically we can talk about narcissism is what we call as you are growing up. Jain, how you grew up in your village, by the way, how your parents brought you up, determines how you become as an adult. If you're brought up by controlling parents, in future, you could find that you accommodate control.
You have those tendencies.
You have those tendencies. Okay. If you're brought up by very harsh parents, in future, you could have forced discipline. It's not you behaving, it is what you are told because of fear. You don't initiate a lot of things because you are afraid. So one thing about these people, if somebody faced negligence, what we call under-involved parenting, then non-involved at all, this child did work but got no feedback. That child could end up becoming manipulative. You know, they are doing everything to stand out. A narcissist wants to be in the limelight. Anataka yeye ndiye kusema. He wants to control everything and anything. They use a lot of I statement. In nyumba yangu, I cannot accommodate this in my house. When you hear people, Jain, talking about my, tumepata watoto mimi na wewe, and then you're talking about my children. My what? Okay, occasionally you can. But every other time you're referring to everything, my table, my cup, my what? That person, watch out. He could be having some narcissism in him. So the abuse, for example, if somebody faced child abuse, either physical, verbal, emotional, sexual, these people, they translate to becoming narcissistic in future.
All right. Now let's fast forward and now get to the stage in life where, you know, getting into committed relationships and marriage for that matter. You had touched a bit on the kind of persons that narcissists would go for a partner or a spouse. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes. Now, number one, when we were talking about personality, I told them that there are people we call choleric and they are very outgoing and everything. They do not look for other cholerics to marry because they are aggressive. They are not looking for other aggressive. They are looking for people they can intimidate. You get it, So a narcissist knows that, number one, he's controlling. He has controlling behavior. He needs a lot of praise. He is expecting everybody to praise him. And if you do not praise, you become an enemy. So this person will not look for another narcissist to marry. No, they cannot. They will explode in that kind of a marriage. There will be explosion. So they are looking for somebody who will accommodate this. And who is best placed to accommodate that? An empath. So who is this person we call an empath? Empath is a personality. These people, they tend to understand you. They are over-understanding. Quiet, reserved, look godly from outside. These people do not like drama. These people are very quiet. They don't like drama. They are reserved.
Yes.
So these people, because of the nurture relationship, they tend to be over-understanding. Oh, they find you do not want to eat this, unamuchapa na chakula unamrudisha, sema, okay, I'm so sorry, Mama Jerry, let me go and prepare something else. Goes back to the kitchen. Try that with someone who is not an empath. They will create a fight. So they will always look for these people who are calm, who are reserved, who are there, who cannot fight back. A narcissist does not want somebody who can fight back or even answer back. No, they want someone who is quiet. So they will intimidate you and they will make sure they bring you down. They never support your dreams, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, they don't even make you seem like you exist. Anything for them, you are a non-existent person for that matter. You come saying, I was thinking, we buy this plot here. Unajua nini mambo ya plot? What do you know about plots and investment? You're not supposed to have a say in this marriage. You're there to be seen and not to be heard. That's a narcissist for you. So they look for some people that they can intimidate.
So they always go for someone who they can have a sense of control over.
Yes.
So now, for people who might be in such a relationship, how then do they even initiate communication with a narcissist? Because there are people who could already be in such situation.
And there are many. Oh, yes. Jane, there are many. I told you, these people, number one, they have a sense of insecurity. Narcissist, they have a sense of insecurity. They are overjealous. They do not believe that any other person can be better than them. Therefore, that is why they keep on intimidating you and putting you around there. And they do not want you to imagine that you can get a better husband than them or a better wife, because narcissism can be in anyone. It can be a wife, it can be a husband, it can be a parent. You could be brought up. I had a very nasty case, by the way, of someone brought up by a narcissistic mother. They even don't allow this child to see the father. They were doing nasty things. They have to come and check who is your boyfriend. Did they break your virginity? Now how do you go checking virginity in a girl? It's something crazy. That's narcissism in a parent. So one thing that you can tell these people, because they are highly controlling, find out, because you have to always be very cautious when you're communicating around them, because
it's
you
like
don't want to hurt them.
Man.
You don't want to hurt them, because whatever you say, they'll pick quarrel out of that. Be yourself. Manage your self-esteem. Mind about you. If you can be able to manage your self-respect, you can create a boundary. Put boundary at that. Mimi, I can't stomach this. I'm talking to you and you're not listening to me. I cut that communication. Boundaries. When you are ready to communicate, we shall talk. Otherwise, a narcissism does not, he treats you like you don't exist, or she treats you like you are not there. So whatever you're saying is inconsequential to them. So create boundaries. Let them know. Let you have your own ego. We all have egos. Let nobody bring you down. Even if you're in a relationship, let them know that you can leave. And they are afraid of that. So they will respect that. Akisikia utaenda, anashinda upate mtu mwingine. I thought I'm the only person in this world. How? And they use very nasty language. They even insult you in front of children. Yeah. They intimidate you and make you know that ukitoka hapa, you can amount to nothing. So create boundary. Learn how to communicate with them. Do not be oversensitive when you're talking. That, unajua baba Jerry hapendi hivi, ukisema hivi utamkasirisha. Let them be angry. It is their own issues they're dealing with. After some time, they will learn that this person also has feelings. Otherwise, if every other time you're coming, you're being controlled and you get into their traps, oh my, that is when you hear somebody locked in themselves, because a lot of negative energy, you become depressed. Yes. You lock yourself, you kill your children, you kill yourself, umekufa. Sasa tumesaidia nani? Nobody. Boundaries. Make sure you have boundaries even in when you're communicating. Oh yes. Now that brings the aspect, and that is conflict management in relationships, because we also understand that narcissists have a fragile self-esteem in as much as they have a bloated ego. They can easily turn around the situation to play the victim in a situation where you're trying to handle a conflict. How do you go about such a situation? Thank you. I can take you back. Narcissists, we said, some play what you call passive-aggressive behavior. Now, passive-aggressive behavior is whereby you play the victim. We were fighting. You are the man and I'm the lady. You fought me. You punched me until I'm bleeding. Yes. When I shout, I ask for help, and neighbors come. They find you who was fighting me on the floor crying, hey, Madam Manager, this lady will kill me. And people will think I was the one who was fighting you. You get it? That is a narcissist for you. So how do you deal with this person? In as much as they have controlling behavior, in as much as they have fragile ego or whatever, there is nowhere, Jane, when we were getting married, we agreed that you are superior and I am inferior. Okay, I know the Christian part of the man is the head and the wife is the neck or something like the submissive bit. But even when you are submissive, that doesn't mean that you kill me. It doesn't mean that you fail to support my dream. So when you're dealing with this person, communicate with authority. Communicate with authority. State what you need and learn to say no. Most of the empaths don't know how to say no. They will accommodate and accommodate even when it is not working for their in their favor. They don't know how to say no. Learn to say no. A narcissist will do something like, they'll bombard you with information. We are going for a holiday. they had not prepared you. They had not. They want you to fit in their schedule. Now, if you don't learn to say no, you will all the time be feeling intimidated or something like that. Do not accommodate that. Okay. In as much as you want to be very careful in the way you are speaking to them, at least learn to stand for yourself. Get some self-esteem your own. If you have your own self-esteem, you can be able to handle anyone. You can handle anybody.
All right. Authority comes in good hand when it comes to handling conflict with this particular type of
dealing
people.
With the narcissist, it's all about you stepping your authority. That is it. There is no other way. Narcissism, hakuna dawa ati tutakupeleka hospitali. We can only manage you. But hakuna dawa ati tutakutibu. You only have to deal with the issues.
Now, you know, for somebody listening to this conversation, they'll be like, hey, it's all doom and gloom when it comes to handling or being in a relationship with somebody who has narcissistic tendencies or is a narcissist. But the people who are in such relationships, is it possible to have a healthy relationship that actually lasts with a narcissist, and especially one who is aware that they are a narcissist?
Yeah, sure, you can. I always tell people that when you're faced in a relationship, matters to do with the relationship, you either thrive or you run away from it. So you've heard of people talking of thriving marriages, isn't it? A thriving relationship and such. So people have lived with them. So we will not be here to tell you that now if you're married to a narcissist, you run away. There are reasons why we can tell somebody terminate your marriage or maybe stay safe in case of abuse and such. But if he's not abusive and you feel you have the grace to accommodate that, you can learn to live with them. And how do you learn to live with these people who have a very high bloated ego, who want to bring you down? You state your authority. Clear boundaries. Let you have friends who you can talk to. They are a friend, or when they see you talking to people, they are afraid that you might open up to pastor, you might open up to your mother, you might open up to your friend, you might go out and your friend, so they manipulate even who you become friends with. Jain, I told you I don't like that company. They have fear. You might open up and you'll be utachanuliwa wambiwe wewe umekaliwa. So they are afraid of that. So for you, create your own circle of friends and stick to that. Let them come and tell you, you know, you are hurting me. I told you I don't like that. Yes, but it is my friend. We are not an island that I can live alone. I have my own. So establish close friends. Stable relationship. I know of one
away
person.
From the relationship with the narcissist.
Oh, yes. You have a life of your own. Jain, before you got married, you had friends, isn't it? So marriage does not mean that you kill all your friends now. No.
Because that's one thing that narcissists ensure they do. They cut you off.
They block you from the society.
Yes.
So they can manipulate you, cook you, do all manner of things inside, and you cannot scream for help. You feel suffocated. You can't scream for help. So when you find yourself dealing with a narcissist, because those marriages, they thrive anyway, but they thrive only when the other party has been told what to do. Those people who reach to me through my inbox is only that I just tell them, you're dealing with one, and maybe this is what you can do. So when you get to know how to manage someone, you can even manage we call them the psychosis and the neurosis people. Those are serious mental cases. You can manage anyone as long as you're taught how to handle them. And how do we teach our Kenyans how to handle them? Mind your own health. Your own health comes first. Your mental health comes first.
Yes.
So nobody should bring you down. If we can empower and help you raise your self-esteem, you can manage anyone.
So then why do we find people stay in this abusive relationship, and especially with a narcissist who is all out, not even trying to play victim? I found a category called the Malignant Narcissist. You know, they are abusive verbally and physically, they are manipulative, they are sadistic, they are controlling, and the other partner is aware of all this, but they still choose to stay.
Yeah. There are two reasons that are known. Of course, there are many others, but the two main, in a marriage setup, you find especially women, they tend to stay in an abusive marriage because of children. You ask somebody, Mama Nani, why are you in that marriage and you've been beaten, umengolewa meno, umefanywa nini, but you're still staying there. And you say, unajua sasa watoto wangu, I don't want my kids to grow up without a dad. It's honestly, that is how culture maybe trained us. But now, Jain, if you were to look at life seriously, do you know that these kids after 18 years they'll be leaving? They'll be living. You are with those children for a very short duration of time. So they'll soon be living and you're left alone with that negative person. Number two, do you consider, because we talk of where the lesser evil, which is the lesser evil? These children who are seeing you being abused, misused, and used. They see you, they're in a toxic relationship. You're doing them a lot of damage. We started by saying about parenting. Tukasema how you're parenting these children will determine what they become.
Yes.
So what about this child who has grown seeing you being abused? What do you think will happen to their personality in future? They might become bullies. If they don't become bullies, they might have fear. If they don't have fear, they might have resentment, hatred for men or women, in case, depending on who was misusing the other. So you will have done a lot of damage to these children than good. So if you are staying in that abusive marriage, maybe because of children, you need to really look at your
reevaluate your decisions.
Reevaluate yourself, and tell us whether you really want to stay in that because of them, because soon they'll be leaving. And some of these children even come and ask you, Mom, sasa, why did you even accommodate all these? So that is number one, parenting.
Yes.
Number two, there are people who feel like maybe they do financially they are not doing very well, and maybe this is they're dependent on this man or this woman, so they have to stay there because this is where they are getting their daily bread and all that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, pray to your God. Let God help you to be stable and strong so that you're able to move away from abuse.
Okay. Now, there is also the category that gets to walk away from such a relationship, but there are also those, and this is something that I actually have been seeing on the social platforms. You don't know how to be in a healthy relationship because you are so used to being in this toxic space, such that when you move on from a toxic person or a narcissist and you get into a healthy relationship, you also leave that healthy relationship because haina drama ya kutosha to keep it alive, to keep it spicy.
Yes.
Moving on from a toxic relationship from a narcissist and actually learning or unlearning those toxic habits to be in a healthy relationship.
Thank you. Jain, did you learn about the law of attraction at some point, that most of the time who you are likely to attract such a person? And when we are dealing with a narcissist, you find that this person who has been married, and I don't want you to imagine that it is only a lady.
It goes both ways, by the way.
It can be a man, a woman, a parent, a child. It can be anyone. So you find that, for example, if it's this lady who was married to a man who is a narcissist, for example, one of the things you realize about them is that when they come out, because their self-esteem has been totally destroyed, they have low self-esteem. Hata ukimwambia Jain uko smart, anakuza aki sasa wapi? Because this man has been telling you you'll amount to nothing, you are nothing. Who tells you you are smart? Where? Look at the way you don't even know how to dress, you don't know how to groom yourself. Their self-esteem has been brought down until, you know, when we hammer a lot of there's this thing we call self-fulfilling prophecy. I keep on telling you something when ngombe, so now or later you'll behave like a ngombe because you tend to believe that is what you are. So this person tells you you'll amount to nothing. So now or later you feel like I'm worthless, I'm what? So when they come out of that marriage and then they go and find somebody else who is genuine and who maybe may want maybe to date them and marry them or something, they don't believe. No amount of word can make this lady who was in an abusive marriage believe you.
Feel they
so most of the
this.
time they push you away. Unakuja unajaribu, they don't open up very easily. You want to come, they are wounded. That is number one. They are hurting from inside, they are bleeding, so they are not able to accommodate any other person. Number two, you could find that maybe this is a man who has married a narcissistic girl and has done all the dramas and everything, and so you decide to call it a quit. You leave. After you leave, Jain, while you're outside there, what are you trying to do? You're trying to prove that you are not the reason why this marriage failed. And so what do? You can look for another narcissist so that you try to prove that it was not my fault. So you find yourself in the same game again. And at first, you are not able to notice that he or she is one.
Okay.
But when you are inside there, you realize that the same trait, the same cocoon. Once again, you move out of that. Now you wonder, how many marriages will I break, making and breaking? Finally, you just So we hear some nasty things because you are trying. Even people who divorce, when you come out of this marriage, statistics say that the chances of the second marriage breaking are equally high.
Higher,
especially if you didn't deal with what killed the first marriage. And so you find that this person getting to the second marriage is trying to prove to people, to society, or even to yourself, that I really worked hard for my marriage to work, so I was not the problem. You get to the second marriage, you repeat the same problem.
Okay.
It breaks. So you'll keep on wanting to prove to people that you are, after all, I was not the one involved. I was not the bad person after all.
Okay. Now, then there's the other category of people who want to completely disassociate with this narcissistic person they were with and try to move on. But you find this narcissistic individual, ni wale wa kupiga 73 missed calls. They will text you on WhatsApp, on your messaging app, on Instagram, on Twitter, send you emails. They are trying to ensure they are in contact with you by all means possible. What advice would you give somebody who is in such a situation and they're trying to move on from such an individual?
Now, let me tell Kenyans this. Those that are dating and those that are in marriage, especially ladies, learn to differentiate between affection and such kind of drama. Jane, me calling you once, twice is enough. Now ukirudi upate I called you, you will call back unless there was an emergency. But now you wake up, you had just left the place of you've gone to the place of work, you find 16 missed calls in your phone. Honestly, 16. What is this person trying? That is not love. And you hear ladies saying that, you know, my husband loves me so much, you know, he's very overprotective. For
Do
what?
we confuse that with love bombing, or love bombing is also another red flag that we think is a green flag?
No, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Hey, when we're going to talk about the red flag, you will know when this person is genuinely in love them or something. They don't believe. No amount of word can your eyes open. Be in a marriage, your eyes open. So most of the time they push you away. Unakuja unajaribu, they don't open up very easily. You want to come, they are wounded. That is number one. They are hurting from inside. They are bleeding. So they are not able to accommodate. If you have chosen to move, move. There's something we call being assertive. Being assertive is whereby you say no and you mean no. You say yes and you mean yes. So if you have chosen to move, block everything that would remind you of this person. Start with all the social media. It's not a must that you be on social media. You can take a break for some time. So block every contact with this person. Move away. And when you move away, do not move away in the neighborhood where you can meet. This person will still be following you up. Move away to an unknown place. Change your contact if possible. Live a life whereby we cannot even trace you. After some time you have dealt with your issues, you have been helped by maybe the counselors to take back your self-esteem, to stand again on your feet. If you are to meet a narcissist in the current form, the version of yourself where you have changed, they cannot manipulate you. But before that, take time, block him. Social media,
go no contact.
Kila mahali, block him. Let him not get back to you, because they'll do something like this. Aki Jane, unaniacha and the way I loved you, you know what. And you know, women, we are just the same. Mtu akilia tu hivi, unasema aki yenyewe, let me give him another chance. Maybe he'll change. So you'll still find back yourself there. He cheats again. He does all the drama again. Comes and apologizes, comes with a bouquet of flowers, takes you out into South Africa to go and reconcile. You're back and you give him a third chance. Then how many chances do you have in life? We are aging. You'll never be 45 forever. You need to move on with your life.
Now, then there's a situation where you have children with this particular person, and you equally have the same rights to the children. I stay with the children, you come see the children, go with them, but you find a situation where they are also weaponizing the children against one parent, against the other. How do you handle such a situation?
Such a situation becomes
when you have chosen to detach from the individual, but you have children in this case.
I would advise that you opt for what we call co-parenting. It's not a very easy thing. Okay, we always advise parents, even when you're fighting, leave children out of this drama. They found you too in a marriage setup, and soon they'll be leaving you. So choose co-parenting. Co-parenting is whereby you keep your differences aside and you say, maybe for example, if these children, because we believe that after the age of 18 they're free to choose where to go, but before that, most of the time you find that it is with the mother is the one taking care of them. So as the mother, irrespective of who you are, do not go manipulating these children, telling them, you know, your dad is just nothing, is what, or even the father. So if it's a weekend and you agreed they'll be seeing their dad over the weekend, let them go there. You don't even have to be there yourself. Just take a cab, take the children, let them go enjoy a relationship with them. Honestly, they do not deserve that treatment of whereby they don't get love from both sides, and you both of you are alive. So I would just advise, opt for co-parenting, and co-parent in a mature way. don't let these children know part of your indifferences. Do not even let them take sides.
Okay.
If they choose, fine, but do not manipulate them.
So leave the children out of your drama.
Oh yes, leave them out of their fight.
All right. Now, then, for those who you have been in this relationship, you're trying to leave, you're trying to move on, but you also have experienced such mental trauma from this person. You know, we did talk about manipulation, where they even make you question your reality.
Oh, yes.
They say you didn't do this and yet you did this, or you did this and you didn't do that. Would you advise somebody to seek therapy when you're leaving a relationship that is toxic, or when you are with a narcissist?
By all means. By all means. Look for counseling, look for help. And by you looking for help, I'm not trying to tell you to go to the neighborhood woman or man wanze kumwambia this is what has been happening. This world, Jane, we are 6 billion of us. Assuming everybody has one problem, we have 6 billion problems. So unakuja kuniambia na niko na shida zangu. Seek help from a therapist, from a counselor. A counselor will first of all understand the damage that has been done in this relationship.
Yes.
Then we'll help you to collect yourself back and come back to reality. They'll help you build what you call your self-esteem. By that, we assist people by getting to know your self-awareness. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are you able to do well? How do you make new relationships?
Yes.
How do you make them work? How do you nurture friendship? So when you're able to help this person get back
to rebuild
and to build their self-esteem back, now this person is free to face anybody in this world. Because I always say self-respect is #1 weapon against abuse. Against any form of abuse, self-respect. So if you respect yourself, Jane, there are things you cannot accommodate. Somebody who is coming to demean you, you cannot accommodate that, and they will know it. But if you don't, if somebody has just, you know, told you wewe tu ni umeitwa majina mpaka sasa unaona yenyewe mimi ni kama tu niyo nimeitwa, you will not fight back.
Okay. Now, as we bring this conversation to a close, you know, maybe somebody could be watching us today and they are aware that maybe they have narcissistic tendencies, or they have been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, and they are hoping to get into a relationship, a long-term relationship for that matter, or even marriage. How would you advise them to go about this form of commitment they are seeking, but while being aware of their shortcomings or the challenges that they are facing or could pose to another individual? Very briefly.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Jane, the medicine people know that ule ugonjwa mzuri ni ule ugonjwa umejulikana. That disease that has been diagnosed. So we'll know we are treating this. So you find that all the traits we have just explained here, plus many more, by the way, there are too many.
Yes.
All the traits we've talked about, you realize that you possess them. But you still want to get into a relationship. You can choose deliberately to work on yourself. Work on yourself. It is not a live threat that tumekwambia sasa if you are this you will die. No.
Yes.
You can choose to work on yourself. You, for example, just the way we tell people work on your anger, and we teach you anger management skills, the way we teach you anything, any behavior
The same
is learned.
principles apply.
Yes, any behavior learned can be unlearned.
Okay.
So for this case, if you realize that you possess this narcissistic traits, you can choose to work on yourself. You realize that you're aggressive, you can at least now realize how to not manipulate people. You have a controlling behavior, you have a bloated ego, you feel you're too important in this world.
Yes.
You learn how to accommodate other people, you learn how to nurture relationship, so you can work on yourself. If you're having trouble working on yourself, see a therapist. See a counselor, come to us. Let us help you work with you so that you're able to know, now I think I have too much of this. I can manipulate, I can regulate this, and I become this. And as I always say, if you're lowering your self-standard so that you can accommodate people, you're in a toxic relationship.
All right. Self-awareness will go a long way in such a situation.
Kabisa.
Now, due to the fact that we've run out of time, we have to pause at that particular point. But of course, this is part of a series of conversations that we get to have here on this particular segment when it comes to Family Check. But for now, we have been speaking with Zipporah Wanyeki, who is a counselor at the Baton of Hope. She's also a trainer, among many other titles. But for the purposes of this conversation, she is a counselor. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
You're welcome, Jane.
All right. Now that brings us to a close of the program. Thank you for being with us. Be sure to join us again tomorrow morning. I am Jain Wambui. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.